Yesterday was Heritage Day in South Africa, where we all celebrate being proudly South African. We're all standing around braais and drinking certain substances, and one of those substances, I'm sure, was an iced tea called Bos. And in the studio with me now is Dave Evans, the CEO of Bos Brands. Quite neatly leading into you, Dave. Welcome to the studio, by the way. Did you use venture capital when you set up Bos?
Yes, we started with our own capital, but then we were quite fortunate to receive early on some angel funding, and also from Sir Alex Ferguson, who came in quite early, and then from proper venture capital funding from Invenfin that came through. It was a division of Remgrow.
This is really a great South African story, because Rooibos is of course the basis of your product, and I think it's either you or your partner that has a Rooibos link. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, my partner Richard, he owns a farm up in the Cederberg called Klip op Mekaar, and that's the farm that we source all of our Rooibos from directly. So it's single origin, organically farmed Rooibos that we use in all of our products.
It's a very cluttered, very cluttered environment, the drinks market, whether it be a normal sort of fizzy drink that we associate with soft drinks, or something that is more niched like yours and supposedly more healthy. I mean, the margins must be very fragile, and as I say, the competition must be great. And I suppose then you've got to start looking away from South Africa and looking at the export market. But firstly, let's get on with the competition. Is it quite fierce?
Certainly. I mean, you're up against some of the largest sort of multinational behemoths in the world. You're up against the Coca-Colas and the Liptons and the rest of the world. Yeah,
because they've all muscled in on the market, haven't they? I mean, they've gone from Coca-Cola now to spring water and the iced tea market as well, which is quite big.
Correct. But we feel that there's a great opportunity, and there's a lot of beverages that are fun for you but not necessarily great for you. And there's a lot of beverages that are sort of healthy for you but not a lot of fun. And we feel like there's a wide open space in between there where you can create a beverage which is fun and people really enjoy drinking and really enjoy badging with, and talks to the lifestyle that they want to associate with. But it's also healthy for you. It can be low in sugar. I mean, Rooibos is caffeine free, so we're a preservative free, caffeine free, colorant free, low in sugar product. So a healthy product that's packaged in really bright, fun colors, and we have really bright and energetic marketing that supports it. And so it's a fun.
I mean, that's one of the things, isn't it? I mean, I know you've won awards for your packaging, and that's all fine and well, and you're a very so-called cool brand. But are you making money? Do you have the volumes to take on the big boys? Because that's often what happens. There've been so many drinks in this country that have been squashed by people like, for example, the old SAB and little in the old days, little beer companies that tried to take them on, didn't work. I mean, it's slightly changing now, isn't it, with craft beers, and presumably with your brand as well? Yeah,
I think you know, as a challenger brand like ours, you've got to take a slightly different.
Is that what you call it, a challenger brand?
Yeah. You know, we're not the incumbents, so we're a challenger brand, and we've got to adopt slightly different strategies. You know, we work with the best partners that we can find across our supply chain who've got great scale, and it allows us to sort of expand quite rapidly. You know, the margins can be quite good in the product, in the category. And that allows us to reinvest quite aggressively in our marketing and build great brand awareness. And in the categories and channels we're in, we're performing very well against the big boys.
Competition in South Africa is one thing, competition overseas is something completely different. I mean, there may be 10 competitors on the South African supermarket shelves. There would be 150 of them in the United Kingdom, the United States, Europe, etc. How are you managing to penetrate that market, if at all?
Yeah, so we're probably in the early days of doing that. We've started to export to a number of different countries, and we're generally coming in to those countries off the back of a South African connection, and Rooibos underpinning it as an intrinsic. You know, Rooibos is increasingly recognized globally as just a wonderful sort of tea product, you know, with great benefits, high in antioxidants, you know, zero caffeine and so forth. So when you start to see even like Starbucks carrying a range of Rooibos drinks across Starbucks in the US, so the awareness of Rooibos is growing by leaps and bounds.
And all Rooibos sourced from South Africa, or are they starting to go elsewhere as well?
No, it's endemic to the Western Cape, to the Cederberg region. So it's really it's a local product and gaining great traction globally.
But you know what will happen? Someone will find a climate that is similar to the Western Capes and start growing it there, or there will be, like as has happened with Buchu, there will be a synthetic equivalent to Rooibos with all the same characteristics, but easy to grow in a petri dish or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, in consumers you see increasingly are engaging into the backstories of brands, and they really want to see, you know, a product that has a history to it and an integrity to it and honesty to it. So I think that Rooibos, you know, that Rooibos connection, that local South African connection, is something which has value. You know, I think beyond that, the industry has also been trying to work towards ways of protecting that that sort of origination, like you would with champagne or anything else. So, but I think consumers really want to see that backstory has integrity, and I think that'll always hold.
One thing I will say about your marketing and your strategy in the future is that you're going to have to drop Sir Alex Ferguson as your 10% shareholder, if that's what he is, because you immediately isolate the rest of the football supporting world. Okay, Manchester United, probably the biggest footballing brand in the world, but if you're a Liverpool supporter, especially after what happened on Sunday, you're not going to buy Bos.
Yeah, certainly. But I mean, Sir Alex is you know, credited for being part of building a phenomenal brand, you know, of Manchester United. I mean, the growth and the brand equity of that business over the last few years has just been exceptional. So it's wonderful having him as part of the team.
He always associates himself with winners, unfortunately, for people like myself. Dave, thanks very much for coming.